You ever walk past a construction site and just wonder, how does all of that happen? How does an empty patch of dirt or some old forgotten building suddenly become the new apartment complex or that shopping center that just popped up? Well, the answer lies with this one key person who, believe it or not, orchestrates the entire thing. Let's dig into who they are.
It is a huge, incredibly complex process. And right at the center of it all, you've got one role: the real estate developer. These are the people with the vision, the ones who take the big risks, and the managers who literally orchestrate the transformation of the world we live in, right from the ground up.
So, the best way to think about a developer: picture the conductor of a symphony. They're not playing the violin or the cello themselves, but they're the ones coordinating everyone. The architects, the engineers, the contractors, the bankers, even the city officials. They take the blueprint, which is kind of like the sheet music, and they turn it into a finished, functional building. From that first little idea to the grand opening, they're guiding the whole performance. And we're not talking about some small, niche industry here. According to the Urban Land Institute, real estate development contributes over $1.3 trillion to the U.S. economy. Yeah, trillion with a T. That is a massive impact, and it really shows you just how critical this industry is to our economy and to the very shape of our communities.
Okay, so what does a developer actually do day to day? It's way, way more than just picking out a piece of land and telling a construction crew to get to work. Let's break down their playbook and look at the core responsibilities.
A developer has to be a master of so many different things. Seriously, they wear a ton of hats. It all starts with super intense market research to see if an idea is even possible. Then they have to go out and secure the financing. And that's not just asking for a loan, it's about building a whole story to convince investors. They're negotiating deals, managing the project, and trying to navigate this crazy maze of city permits and deadlines. And maybe the biggest thing? They have to be experts in risk management, because 100 things could go wrong. It is a constant, high-stakes juggling act of money, logistics, and trying to see into the future.
A lot of people mix up developers with real estate agents, but they are worlds apart. An agent helps with a transaction, right? A sale. A developer, on the other hand, is there from the absolute beginning, from the very first spark of an idea. And because of that, they carry an enormous amount of financial risk. If the project goes south, they're the one on the hook.
So how does a project go from just a vision in someone's head to an actual building you can walk into? Well, it follows a pretty clear path, a step-by-step journey from idea to reality.
It always starts with spotting an opportunity, finding that one piece of land that everyone else overlooks but has untapped potential. Then comes the high-stakes negotiation to actually buy it. Stage 3, getting approval, can feel like a marathon of navigating city zoning codes and getting permits. That part alone can sometimes take years. Only after that green light can construction finally begin. But the job isn't done when the last brick is laid. The final stage is all about marketing and getting people in the doors, turning that building into a living, breathing space.
So the basic process has been around for a while, but the world has definitely not stood still. So what does it take to actually succeed as a developer in today's market? Let's take a look at the modern developer's toolkit, the skills and trends they absolutely have to deal with right now.
These are the fundamentals, the absolute non-negotiables. You have to understand the numbers inside and out, budgets, ROI, all of it. You need to be an amazing project manager, a sharp negotiator, and know your way around zoning laws. But maybe the most important skill of all, you have to be adaptable, ready for anything the market throws at you.
And this is exactly where that adaptability comes into play. Today's market demands sustainable, green buildings. There's a huge push for what's called urban infill, basically redeveloping spots inside a city instead of just sprawling outwards. People expect technology to be built right in, smart buildings. And of course, there's the rise of these mixed-use, live-work-play communities that are completely changing the look and feel of our neighborhood.
All right, so we've seen what they do and how they do it. But let's just zoom back out for a second and look at the final blueprint. Why does the work of a real estate developer actually matter to all of us?
This quote from a real project in Colorado Springs just nails it. It perfectly captures the two sides of development. On one hand, yeah, it's about creating financial value. A 12% return is a huge win for investors. But on the other hand, it's about transforming a vacant lot into a vibrant complex. It's about creating a place where people can actually live and work and connect with each other.
So here's the bottom line. The next time you see a crane up in the sky or you walk into a brand new building, you'll know it didn't just appear out of nowhere. You'll see the invisible hand of that conductor, the person who spent years guiding a really complex symphony of money, law, and construction to make it happen.
When you really think about it, developers are building the stage on which our lives play out. They are shaping our cities, our communities, and our future. So the real question for all of us is, what should they build next?